We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
And you're back on Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides and Tim Donner. Now, Tim, the next thing on my dance card here is Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the self-identified democratic socialists. Again, I repeat myself. When I hear this thing, I think communists. Yes. I might be wrong. I'm probably not. But they're
essentially right. Yes.
They're doing this this grand tour, essentially trying to, and with necessity, I might add here, just to give them their due. Democratic Party is rudderless at present. It doesn't have a direction. It doesn't have leadership. They're trying to create that direction. I'll give them that. That's a worthy endeavor. But they're going around doing this this tour on oligarchy, and I won't ask you to repeat your Bernie Sanders impression. However, it was fantastic, and I'm sure Tim, you do weddings, bar mitzvahs, that kind of thing.
I'm here all week.
Absolutely. So I'm reminded of one of my favorite lines from The Princess Bride, the movie and the book by William Goldman, who is one of my top 3 writers. Anyway, the Sicilian keeps saying inconceivable, and then one of his cohorts says, that word you keep saying, I don't think it means what you think it means. And I'm reminded of that every time Bernie Sanders talks about oligarchy. He just doesn't understand what the word means, right? I mean, now, before I hand this over here you go. So it's from ancient Greek, oligarchia, which means rule by the few, rule, command by a small number of people, right? Now, isn't that what a representative government is?
Well, it depends what the meaning of small is.
Thank you, Bill Clinton.
Well, talk about an odd couple.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, at least, by the way, that was the title of Lisa K. Donner's excellent article
excellent piece
on this subject.
Bernie Sanders and AOC, they make Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon look like they're completely compatible. She, in her article, Lisa really exposed AOC for her vacuousness. The fact she referred to the 3 branches of Congress, right? And then you said, no, the 3 branches of, what was it, something that showed absolute ignorance of the very basics of a
Wait, the 3 branches of the 3 branches of Congress: House, Senate, the stock market, right? They're also.
Oh, I thought the third one was
the
permanent bureaucracy.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, okay, 4 branches then.
Yeah, BlackRock's in there as well, right? That's the 4th branch.
Here's the thing. Nobody knows what oligarchy is. If you go out on a tour and say, fight corruption, or fight fascism, even something like that, people will know what that means. But when he says, fight oligarchy,
there you go.
Sanders does. They don't even know. I bet you that more than half, if not 80% of the audience that's cheering wildly in their joint appearances, AOC and Bernie, don't even know really what oligarchy is. They're just willing to cheer anything that's anti-Trump or that gives, the left some kind of energy. But if I was Bernie Sanders, I would pick something that the ordinary American can relate to, that they might rally around. But the average person getting in their car, going to their $65,000 a year job, doesn't know what oligarchy is and isn't intellectually curious enough to find out. Well, all they know is that, that the left is protesting too loudly.
So here's the thing. He uses a word that's purposely obscure in its meaning to a lot of people, not to everybody, of course. But to many people, it's a reasonably obscure word. They've heard it. Perhaps they don't know the specific definition, right? And he's using that with purposeful intent so he can make it mean whatever he wants it to mean. It's when they use the term fascism without actually defining what fascism is in the context. or the threat to democracy. It's so broad or so misunderstood that they can make it mean or stand for whatever they want it to stand for. Because think about it, what is the opposite of oligarchy? Bernie Sanders is against oligarchy. What's the opposition? What's the opposition of oligarchy? Populism, right? Populist vote,
Yes.
right?
And yet he's
who's the biggest populist
But,
on the political scene today?
but here's the thing that nobody seems to be asking, which they should. Okay, so if Bernie thinks we're being run by a cabal of a few people, rich, elite, connected, what does he make of George Soros? I mean, if there's an oligarch in this country on the left, it's George Soros. He personally bought district attorneys in multiple states with a brilliant strategy to pour in unprecedented
I think
amounts
paid
of
for
money.
is a kinder way to say it. He paid for district attorneys.
Yes, essentially he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he is such an oligarch. The guy is richer than God, and he will spend all that money trying to advance his progressive principles. So somebody should ask Bernie, would you include George Soros on your list of oligarchs? Because that's exactly what he is. The point is that there's wealthy, well-connected oligarchs, as he describes them, on the left and on the right.
Sure.
Because our system is set up so that there can be undue influence by people who have more money. That's just the reality of it. But while it used to be that all the rich people were Republicans, it seemed, now it seems like the wealthiest people in the world are connected to the Democratic Party, with certain notable exceptions, Elon Musk being the most notable of them, of course.
Yeah, it's you got to wonder, would Bernie Sanders be doing an oligarch tour? I'm not sure what the official name of this tour is, but let's call it the oligarch tour. Would he be doing that had Kamala Harris won the presidency? Because there's still be big money. And people talk about how much Elon Musk donated to Donald Trump, but the Kamala Harris campaign, I believe they actually raked in double from big donors what Donald Trump did from all of his big donors. I believe it's roughly double. Yeah, it's roughly double. And would he be on the same tour? I think not, which really exposes not just his willing fraud to confuse those people who turn up at his rallies with the term oligarchy, but also his and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez rank hypocrisy. Final word on this, Tim.
Well, I think if you look at the 2020 election and to some extent the 2016 election, big money was on the side of the Democrats. It was on the side of Hillary Clinton. It was on the side of Joe Biden. In 2020, all these oligarchs, these wealthy tech billionaires, they were all supporting Joe Biden in 2020. Now, maybe they flipped since, but it's really more, he's really just frustrated that those same people, those oligarchs of the left, have now nestled up next to Donald Trump.
Freedom fighters when they're for us, oligarchs when they're against us. We'll be back with Tim after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.